Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Sandra and I am an interior designer here in Illinois. I also have my own interior design business called Sandra Jessica Interiors. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what school did not prepare me for. If you guys have watched episode 2 podcast where I interview my college friends, one of the questions that I asked them is, what is something you felt school didn't prepare you for? And I'm going to dive deeper into this topic and talk about 4 main things that school didn't teach us or prepare us for, and what you can do about it to help you advance in your career so you're not struggling out here like us, like we did. And I also want to note that just because school missed out on teaching us these things doesn't mean it's not worth it. To me, I will always recommend going to school for interior design, whether you get your associates, whether you get your bachelor's, whether you get some type of certificate. I will always encourage it. So without further ado, let's get started. So the 4 main things that school did not teach me is number 1, budgeting, client communication, project and time management, and what to do on a field measurement day. Now these may sound weird, but let's break it down, and let's start with budgeting. So school did not prepare me for how to budget things, because ultimately when you're in college, everything is fake life. Everything is imaginary clients and unlimited budgets. Maybe nowadays schools have changed on budgeting and things like that, but for the most part, when I was there, I didn't know squat. So when I entered the real world, I was struggling. So this is what you can do to help yourself. Start familiarize yourself with the budget. Even if that means Googling, I said that, I feel like I said the word. Googling interior design budget. And you can start to look at different examples. And then what you can do to learn a little bit more and be proactive is ask a family member or a friend or somebody what they would spend on, what they're willing to spend on the living room or a bedroom. Ask them what their budget is for furnishings for that space, and just start small. Don't get too crazy. Don't pick a room that's so huge that you're just like, I don't know what to do with it. Just get a ballpark on their budget. So once you get that, write it down. The next thing you're going to do is create your spreadsheet. So you can create this on Excel. I use Google Excel. It's a free, like if you have a Google account. And these are the main things that you need to have in your spreadsheet is the name of the product. It could just be like basic, like a living room sofa. And then description. So just like a brief description about the product. Are there any fabric colors that you have to pick from the website, size, and all that stuff? And the next thing is a link. Have a link of the product, because that's how you're going to refer back to it. That's how you're going to be able to reference it. Save the link and the quantity. How many pieces of those are you going to order or get? And then the price. So you need to have those main things to help you get started. So once you have your spreadsheet done, yes, you need to have that done first before you can start designing and selecting furnishings. So you need to have that spreadsheet done, and then you can start searching the web, researching for different furniture selections, like you look for a bed, you look for a sofa, and then once you find something that you like, save it onto your document, save it on the spreadsheets. Just save the link. You don't have to fill out the information right away, because down the line you could always change your mind, because I know I do. So save all of your selections on that spreadsheet, and then as you start to fill it out, you will notice the total, the total of the budget, and that's where you'll realize you're either way over budget or you're way under budget. And if you are way over, you can look at the details that or selections that you feel like you could maybe sacrifice on in a way. So you could have like a $300 side table. Like, do I want a $300 side table? Maybe I can compromise and get something a little bit less expensive on the side table. So you start to kind of solve solutions on how to reduce the budget and what things you're willing to reduce the price on. And if you're under budget, you could be like, well, I could splurge a little bit more on a sofa or on a bedding or a bed. So that's how you can start to get comfortable with creating a budget and dealing with the budget. And it's really easy. If you work for a design firm or a company, sometimes you won't have to deal with the budget, which is kind of nice. But I always recommend, as a designer, be familiar with the budget and know how to handle it, because you never know. The next thing is client communication. College doesn't really give you real clients. You have fake clients, imaginary clients, and it's in a perfect world. Like, that's, you don't have to really go back and forth with the clients. So when I landed my jobs, and some jobs I had very little client communication, and when I landed another job and it required a lot of client communication, I was just like, whoa, how do I talk to these people? So this is what you need to do. You need to learn how to ask the right questions right from the start. Whether you're working for yourself or if you're working for a company, sometimes they will figure out all those things beforehand, and that's why you only focus on the design. But these are just some questions to have in mind if you meet with the client first. You know, questions like, what's your goals? Like, who is going to be utilizing this space? What's your budget? What are you looking to achieve? These are basically like consultation questions. So learn to ask the right questions about the project and about the client and about the people that's going to be using the space. Be transparent about the design process. Sometimes, again, if you work for a firm or company, they already explain the process to them already, so you don't have to deal with it. But if you have your own company, you're thinking about it, or if you have more client communication, you need to be very transparent about the design process, or even if it means giving them like a pamphlet handout so they can follow along with the steps. You know, they need to know when is the presentation, they need to know how does the whole budgeting work, they need to know just questions like that, like understand the process, and don't hide anything from them, because you want to create that trust and that bond right from the get-go. You don't want to leave anything out and then later them to find out and they're like, well, you didn't tell me this from the beginning. So the other thing is, when a client expresses worry or concern, we need to learn how to handle that. And I think, or I kind of wish colleges offered like some type of psychology class on how to deal with clients when these situations happen. But if you have an instance where a client is unhappy or they're worried about the overall outcome, you need to hear them out first, essentially making them feel like reassured in the decision that you guys made, feeling them comfortable and have more trust in them, that they trust that they that they are in good hands with you and your team. Find what is your strong talking points for yourself. Like, what are you good at calming people down? I don't know. I think it just depends on you as a person. Like, are you good with handling that situations? If you're not, find ways to kind of improve and help people feel more at ease. If you made a mistake, own up to it. There's nothing worse than making a mistake and then trying to cover it up or blaming it on someone else when they know that it's your fault. So if you make a mistake, own up to that, be honest, because ultimately clients don't like to be lied to, and then that's when the trust kind of breaks off. And then if you make a mistake, tell them that you made the mistake and this is the solution that you guys are going to do to help solve it. The next thing is give them updates. If you feel like there's been a long time since you guys have last talked, but you're still in the middle of the project, send them an email about, hey, this is what's happening with the project, these are the next few things that's going to happen. Basically let them know what's going on. If you have ordered the furniture, let them know when to expect things by, because ultimately clients like to be included in the loop, because clients like to be pampered and they also appreciate honesty. So I hope that helped when it comes to client communication. Overall, you need to be open and honest. You need to set clear expectations. You need to basically be there to hold their hand when something goes wrong, or if you make a mistake, like going up to it. The next thing is project and time management. Now, you may think that school is something school should teach you when you're juggling multiple classes at once. This is something that you will know how to do when you enter the real world. But I feel like it's either you know how to manage your time or you save everything for the last minute. So when you are in this career path, you do not want to miss any deadlines. I'm gonna tell you guys that right now. Or if you save everything for the last minute, you're gonna be finding yourself cramming everything on the last night, staying up till 5 a.m. Like, you do not want to be doing that. And I get it, sometimes it's hard to manage it because there's just a lot of things that need to be done. So this is what you can do. Organize your tasks. List them from most important to least important. And even if it means taking it day by day, sometimes you need to do day by day tasks. Like, what are your top 3 things that you need to accomplish? I always like to handle the hard stuff first. Like, I like to get that out of the way, so I know that I have some time to work on it if that's the first thing I do, because then I know that the last things is something I can just like finish up really quickly. So yeah, I like to do it day by day, but sometimes people like to do it week by week or month by month. It all depends on like what's your preference, but organize your tasks. What has really helped me is downloading some sort of project management software. And what I use is Asana. I feel like I always preach about Asana, but essentially this is an app and it's free. You can download it on your phone and then you can use it on your computer. It has a website and you can assign yourself tasks. You can create projects for yourself, and then within that project write down what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, and set deadlines. That is what helps me so much. Is alright, I cannot slack off, I need to do this by today, tomorrow I need to have this done. I think it's really helpful to have some sort of project management app or software to help you. I know everybody's different, but that's what I found so useful for me to stay on track of everything. And then sometimes I'll forget what I need to have done by the end of the week or by next week. So I'll look at the overall calendar view and be like, all right, this is what I need to do, all that stuff. So yeah, just find something that works for you and find ways to how you can stay on top of your tasks and your projects and all that stuff. If you have like a manager or boss, they will set the deadlines for you, and it's up to you to kind of manage those deadlines and how you're going to complete everything. The last thing is what to do on a field site visit day. You'd be surprised, like in school I didn't have much experience measuring in actual space. So when I remember when I first started my big girl job and I was sent out to measure this like restaurant. Child, I was so scared. I was like, I have no idea what to do. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, how do I even measure? I don't think they trained me. So if you find yourself in that similar situation, this is what you need to do to measure. When you arrive at the space, and this is something you can do with your bedroom and test it out and be proactive and do it so you can get more comfortable, is look at the space around and then kind of mentally note where windows, doors are, and all that stuff. Then you start to draw your 2D floor plan of the space. So I like to do like the big walls first. Don't worry about drawing every little line and then every little window. Just do like a big overall floor plan of the space, and then you'll start to note doors, windows, any structural beams that are in the middle of the space, anything else structurally noted on the floor plan. So once you have your 2D sketch done, then you can start measuring. And these, I'm gonna tell you guys, these are the tools that I take when it comes to measuring. Having a laser, this is such a game changer, such a lifesaver because it saves you so much time. And a tape measure. So I use a tape measure for the big overall dimensions. This is how you're going to start. You're going to start measuring the big overall dimensions, the overall of the room, horizontal and vertically. Once you get those out of the way, then you start measuring the little stuff, like the width of the window, the height of the window, what is the dimension of that little wall on the corner, and kind of note all that stuff. And I usually, sometimes, depending on the side of the wall, I'll either use my laser or a tape measure, but I always use a tape measure for the windows because it's a little bit more accurate. Not saying that the laser isn't accurate, but when it comes to measuring windows, you want to be a little bit more precise on the measurement. So once you do the windows and all the little details, then you start to note any outlet locations, any power, any switches. And when I'm measuring, I like to label all these things in a different color pen. So I carry a various colors of pens, and I know this may be a little bit time consuming for you to measure and then write a different color and then take another marker and write a different color, but ultimately like it will help you guys, because if you measure everything in one color and you note everything in one color, everything just tends to get lost in translation. It gets kind of messy, it just looks all blah. But when you have measurements in different colors, it helps you very much like visually. Like I like to have my overall dimensions in like a blue color, and then I'll note the windows and any little walls in like a pink color, and then I'll note any outlets or switches in a red color. So I like to switch the color on the type of measurement that I'm taking, if that makes sense. And once you have your measurements, then you can start taking photos of the space. You can either do it before or after, but I like to do it after because that's the quickest thing to do. So I like to stand in a corner and take a picture of like the space, and then go another corner and another corner, and never underestimate how many pictures that you can take, because you never know, you could be like, oh, I think I got everything, and then you go home and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to see that tiny little detail on that wall and I can't see it because I don't have a picture of it. So sometimes I like to just stand and just click away, like just rotate like every few seconds and take a picture. Take pictures of anything close up like windows, or even take videos. Videos are also really helpful to take. If you have an iPad, which I do not have, and I am thinking about getting it in the future, but when you have an iPad, you can potentially take a picture of the wall and you can write the dimensions on there, so you don't have to draw, because sometimes if you have really weird angled walls, I think that's much more helpful to take a picture of it and then write the dimensions on there, so you don't have to struggle on finding a way to how to sketch out this angled wall or ceiling or anything. And don't forget the ceiling height too. But yeah, that is what you should do when you go to when you're being sent away to measure a space. You got this. Just follow these simple steps and you'll be good to go. Well, that is it for this video. Those are the 4 main things that school did not prepare me for or taught me. Again, these are the tips that you can do to help you when you land your first big job or when you are entering a new job. That is what you can do so you can walk in feeling confident in your skills and what you have to offer. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and help me grow this channel. I am so grateful for all of you guys. Thank you so much for 12,000 subscribers, and yeah, I will catch you guys on the next video.